All right, am I on? Just let me know if you can hear me and see me. And until then, I'm just going to lower the screen a little, grab some cufflinks. Yep. Yep, I'm live. Hey, Sush. And hello, Nikolai. Small turnout today, but Cicero is busy, and I'm expecting some more people to pop in as the night moves along. Well, it's nice to see everybody, and hopefully I'm going to be able to stick to a topic. Wouldn't that be lovely? Because I know these are my writing streams, but more often than not, it's me interacting with the chat. So hopefully I can stay to a point. All the important people bother to show up. Yeah, well, you're here, Sush. And so is Nikolai, who seems to be aware enough to razz me for being a few minutes late tonight, but not so much active in the chat. Alright, let me open OBS real quick. Don't want to take a look at that. I've actually been working on a commission for him, and I finally picked a background color. If you can see that. I might have to start doing art streams if anyone cares at all to see me slowly putter with art. Alrighty. Whoa, you were using the restroom and I was busy showing off your commission, so we were having all sorts of fun without you. We were telling all sorts of secrets too. Ooh. Alright, so when last we left off with the oh yeah, don't question the logic of art streams. Oh yeah, I know. Hey Joey. And yeah, Nikolai, I was showing them your commission so far. But when we last left off, Plaid's best laid plans had fallen to ruin, and the ESG had pounced on her, and stuff was hitting the fan. Before Maud managed to rally one of her bull cohorts into charging the hidden human commandos. Now, I had actually taken a bit of lesson from what Sush had said, a criticism. The secret to success is most certainly not cheating, Sush. But I had taken some of Sush's advice. There you go. I had taken some of Sush's advice. She had commented that I was going a little bit too silly with all the S's for the hissing speak of dialogue for the Rolfians. And I am a little bit more tasteful about it early in the book. I had gone back and reread it, and mainly the hissing was something that Plaid Vogue had done mostly herself as her own speaking quirk. The thing is, and I know this is going to be controversial, but, well, not controversial in like a, oh, now Vox Media is going to hate me, but controversial among some authors, because I like immersion as much as possible in a book, since I can't physically have the characters speaking the way they're speaking in my head in my book. I want them to at least be obvious to how they sound to my readers, so that even not hearing them, you can hear them. So I focus on, again, immersion, where I've seen books before where like a character will talk pure dialogue, like right here, you may keep all that your claws can carry, but immediately after it will say they spoke in a near incomprehensible Welsh dialect or something like that, and it takes me out of the moment, especially when the character's going, "What? I can't understand you," in the next line. It's like, I can, though. I want to be there with the character, and I want to feel the character's annoyance, or like try and hear it in my head and be like, what the heck is this gibbering moron on about? So whenever there's accents, a character speaking with a speech impediment, or some way I can try and convey that they say a word differently than normal, or they do something different, I'll try and write it, because then you're right there with the character. And some readers, it might take them a second for the first few times, but after a while of seeing that other characters are having a hard time understanding them, I found it makes a much closer connection for the reader and the character, so it kind of helps. At least in my opinion. You're free to do whatever, but that's food for thought. Nikolai says, in my honest opinion, for reptiles that are known for hissing, if I was writing them with any verbal dialogue, I would personally prefer to save the hissing for when they're really angry or frustrated at something, like they're giving into their native instinct. Well, that's a good bit of insight, and yeah, I try and be as natural as possible with the dialogue as possible. Like I said, Plaid does it more than, say, Maud in the book. And that's because she's trying harder to seem more wistful, more, I know something you don't know, more intimidating. But of course, given bits of anger, I'll use more S's in other characters. Or, since I imagine their language being very far back in the throat, very hissy and guttural and growly, I'll occasionally throw in a G where I can, which just completely screws over a word. But it helps, I think, give it that kind of throaty noise. I do realize that I probably look half psychotic after some of these, so let's move on. I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight, because that's the problem with writing. Muse is a very fickle thing, and I've seen a lot of would-be writers get nervous about their own work because they'll take, and would-be writers, like I'm not, yeah, I'm Mr. Big Shot here. Why am I wearing headphones? Like I'm Mr. Big Shot over here, yeah. But I guess other novice authors, such as myself, will take and set unrealistic, I'm going to get this chapter done by the end of the night, and I'll do much the same thing, and then when that doesn't happen, I get bummed out, and that just makes writing harder. So another lesson for the night: keep your goals and expectations low. I found what works is try and say, I'll write 3 pages by the end of the night, or by the end of the week, or if that doesn't work, I'll write 3 sentences by the end of the week or the end of the day or something. Just, that's one of the reasons that New Year's resolutions fail, because you set out wanting to get this all done in a year, and I'm going to do it for the sake of doing it all in a year, and when it doesn't immediately happen, you lose interest in it, and it just, well, that was stupid, goodbye resolution, and by by July, you're done with your resolutions. And they just don't happen. So I think moderation and realistic expectations go a very, very long way with this. Now, without further ado, let's continue. I've not written down nearly as much as I had between the Wednesday before this and then last Wednesday's stream, so there's not going to be much reading. If you want to read, feel free to pause the stream, scroll down, read everything. I'll keep it pretty much where we were, and I will continue along. I'll read it out loud real quick for you guys, because I figure that's why you're here. I still might need to get to work on some of JP's origin story. Might get back to work on it. I still got much to do. Well, when it's all updated, feel free to send it to me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read here, because I'm still getting used to the whole writing stream idea. Again, normally I used to think streams were just for drawing because you need much more visual stimulation. I don't know. Alright. You may keep all that your claws can carry, she spoke in a low whisper. With his blood racing and adrenaline hitting his veins, the bulky creature offered very little attempt at a thought other than how he wished to indulge. A deafening snarl would ripple from his snout as his dewlapped and gorged and his body began racing forward, on impulse and desire for cruelty alone. While the forms of the ESG would elude even the sharp Rolfian eye, especially as it began to roll over white, the concealment devices of the commandos would prove just poor enough that the berserk male could lock on to their scent. It took only a matter of seconds for the bull to close the gap between himself and the first hill, but as his bellow twisted into a deranged shriek, its trunk of an arm was already surging forward. The unsuspecting Oxide 2-3 would have only a split second to look back towards his attacker before the terrible thump broke across his chest. Many more bulls were very shortly behind their brethren, nearly on top of the commandos in the split second it took for them to turn and register what was happening. "Tango, 6 o'clock!" hollered Oxide 2-4, recovering his wits and... I'm going to change that real quick. And quickly lining a shot. Let me see. And... oh. Rapidly lining up his shot. The nerves of the other commandos were very quick to follow, as the flechettes from 2-4's rifle showered the bull's hide until he fell. Oxide 2-7 and 2-4, being the nearest, would quickly... and that's where we're going to continue. I sometimes stop in the middle of the sentence. You really shouldn't do that because you'll lose your momentum, but I'm not perfect. We can all agree on that, based on the ridiculous little tiny gold bow tie that I thought would look a lot better than what I think it actually does, and my ever-prevalent secondary chin and all its chinly buddies. I'm going to look that up real quick. Okay, that's not going to help. Open Firefox. I want to see if chestplate is listed as one word or two. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, sorry spell check, today you're learning a new word. You'd think that would already... No, according to online, chestplate is one word. And you know... Yep, you know the internet. If it's there, it's true. Everything is rigorously vetted and fact-checked. Completely. Without question. Well, then you used Firefox, and I don't trust Firefox. Nikolai, I'm surprised at you, a furry that doesn't use Firefox? I'm going to put italics there. Yeah, no, Sush is on the internet, and as I said, anything on the internet is absolutely true. According to Sush, Chrome sells all of your data, spies on you, and gives you AIDS. And I don't think you're ready for that kind of commitment, Nikolai. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of those websites sell your information. Like, I'm pretty sure they'd sell them for a freaking Klondike bar. Big old water cup. Nikolai, you are very far from safe. An error has occurred trying to reconnect. Whoa. Well, that was weird. Does my stream keep cutting out for everybody, or what's going on here? I'm just going to move this over just a lot. There we go. I don't think he'd be shouting. That's something you gotta do a lot in writing. Just think about the situation and think about the character. I don't think it seems right if he's shouting in this moment. I think he'd be more composed. I think he'd be using the radio. I think he'd go left, right. You know, little things like that. Take a minute and just think about the character, as important as it is to just keep the overall importance of the story in mind. Now, I have to open my files here and bring up the little map I had to draw for this very scenario. Swing it wide. West. Okay, so that would be a little bobble I did in MS Paint. If you guys saw it, that's because I don't have my settings right and it's showing off my entire desktop. If you did, that's the map. Yes. Well, actually, no. This is the bigger map I did before the map I showed you, Sush. But for all intents and purposes, that map would probably be better. Okay, and I think, no, working on it now, he'd probably tell a singular person to want to go do that. Show us the map, you map elitist. I don't know how to adjust my settings. I know a trick I can do. Because my stream should be programmed only to focus on Microsoft Word. So, scroll down, Control V, and it's loading. Pachink, there we go. That's the map. You can probably see that wonderfully well, all small like that. Can I zoom in? Can I make you bigger? Wow. That's fine. That's good. You guys can see that, right? Right? Yeah, there's nothing wrong here. This is a terrible map and you should feel bad for making it. Been there, done that, got over that. But yeah, this is basically the entire... Can't tell if this is a map. No, this is a map of the battlefield I wrote for where everything's going on this planet. Not just specifically this engagement. This specific engagement's happening right here at runoff for City Storm Drain. Way up here in the corner. The main characters are down here in the dig site. And the Rolfians had just come out of the dig site. Got split up when they hit Fort Lockhead and broke up into two separate groups. One running straight off here for the storm runoff, and the others running out this way and then hooking back and taking a long way over here after getting separated from their group and being a little confused for a while. There you go. You got to enjoy the map. Yep, and you're so manure too, haha. Wait, Matru? You're so Matru? Apparently noodles do not spell so good. Mature, frick. Nope, sorry, it's too late. You are a Matru noodle. I don't have arms, I'm a pasta. You know, there's a lot of preparing you can do in a day. There's some things you just cannot prepare for and don't know how to process when they hit you. And I'm sorry, I don't have or I don't have arms. I'm a pasta. It's just one of those things that, you know, I just was not expecting to have to unload today. I hate your ableism. Sush. Sush. I don't care what your thoughts toward Mr. Lincoln are, but you leave the sideburns out of it. Caleb is the next Doctor, I swear. I couldn't be any worse than Jodie Whittaker. Because at least I won't talk about quitting after 13 episodes! I'm not salty about that at all! Hey, how you doing? What's blood pressure? We're all fine here. Everything's cool, calm, and mellow. Ooh. I'm going to make a psychiatrist very happy one day. What, Matt Smith? No way! Nikolai, get out of here with your plebeian tastes in doctors. Everyone knows that it is David Tennant or William Hartnell or Tom Baker. There are no exceptions. Hey, I have only seen a handful of... That is a personal problem, Nikolai, and I would thank you not to celebrate your doctor ignorance. Wait, David Baker? Tom Baker! Tom Baker. Who the heck is David Baker? David... Nikolai, you're making me feel like I'm having a stroke here, buddy. I said David Tennant, Tom Baker, or William Hartnell. I love the lapel grabbing of William Hartnell. He was just the surliest of cosmic grandfathers. Alright, let me try and get back in the zone here. Straighten the bow tie for power. Yeah. There's about 14 of them, give or take. I liked John Hurt as the Doctor. I didn't like him as his own separate War Doctor thing. Because in my honest, humble opinion, Stephen Moffat was a bit of an idiot. And I'm not saying he wrote bad things. He wrote good scenes. He was a good scene guy. If it was an episode that needed a big crux of a moment or something really cool to set it apart, he was just fine. He did amazing scenes when he had one scene to focus on. When he was trying to show run and he was working with all these ideas and trying to make an episode, you could usually tell where his attention started to peter out, and it was either the beginning to the middle or the middle to the end. He did not fill out a story well, and a lot of the stuff he did was just moronic. And the choice to make the War Doctor a separate doctor than the previous incarnation from the movie felt like a cheap shot. A lot of it felt like they were just taking the piss out of Russell T Davies' work by explaining everything away and getting rid of like the emotional burden that the Doctor had to carry. and I feel they sort of neutered the character. That's just me. And I didn't even watch much of the new Doctor Who, because they've made it clear they're not wanting people like me to want to watch. This is done to make a social statement, and I am not welcome there. They have successfully infiltrated a very old franchise, and they want to make a message rather than make a show. So I leave you to it, and I will bear in my heart the fond memories of Doctor Who I had before it decided to become a third wave feminist propaganda machine. Make of that what you will. I love how we've just turned this into the Doctor Who fan meeting. Because a lot of people complained about it, and they wanted to try and make a big statement there. I could really go into the details, because for a while there I was watching that very closely, and the BBC politics and some of the choices they were making in their hiring principles kind of made it apparent. But I'd prefer not to go on this big crazy rant in the middle of this stream. I want to try and focus on writing here. I'm probably going to call it in a couple of minutes. Oh, watch some of the older ones too. You'll love it. It's like old Star Trek. It's like the new Star Trek. It's much the same. All right. You should make your only female character gay in your book, Caleb. No, because I don't think sexuality of a character is anything to want to base. Oh, there's a topic. Don't base your character off of one single personality trait, one form of sexuality, okay. Don't base your character off of one personality trait, one bit of sexuality, one bit of, oh, well, they're this minority because I'm being inclusive. If you're writing a strong character, it shouldn't matter, and the second you try and make that a gimmick, I find that it objectifies whatever it is you're trying to reference. I know you're making a joke here, but I want to put this on a record here. But I've noticed that especially badly in comic books today, which is why we have such crappy and crummy comic books currently. Because they'll take, oh, I'm going to make them this minority group, and make them this sexuality, make them this faith, this opinion, and you end up creating a character that doesn't really have any room to grow as a character. Because the second they make this character one of these things that they want to represent, it stops being a character and becomes, this is the avatar of all this group of people. This is all of these people personified as this superhero. And if you give that character flaws, the riot mobs that we have in society nowadays, trolling social media, these armchair activists, they jump on you claiming that it's not the character. You're saying all of this group is like that. All of these people have it. It's like, no, I'm trying to make a character here. So the second you start making importance of the character, what sexuality they are, what race they are, what leaning they are, what faith they are, your character is going to end up a martyr for some for group, and you're going to lose control of it, and God help you if you want to do something interesting with it, like give it a character flaw. And that's one thing I never want to happen with my book. I want good arguments between characters. I don't want some guy to be wrong just because he's wrong. If he's wrong, I want him to have a good argument. And I don't want to feel like, oh, it would be better for my brand if I just don't say this, if I just don't broach this topic. Because I feel like the second you close down speech, the second you don't explore the importance of why we feel one way or why one thing is wrong, then anyone claiming to have that position is just paying lip service because they can't defend the point themselves. They've just been pre-programmed with their talking point and opinion, and the second you challenge it, or you have a different person from a different group challenging it, well, they're a racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobe, whatever else have you, dirty name under the sun. And when you devolve into that kind of craziness, there's no room for talking with people. That sort of inability to talk, that ability to dehumanize someone to the point that they are X, Y, and Z because you don't like them, it creates this open space for hate to blossom. And when hate takes root, when hate shows up, it takes all the space it can. It throws as much mud on the lens of your focus as possible, and you will never be able to see that person as anything other than the enemy. And it's a crying shame, because we are all people. We are all trying to make the world better in the only ways we know how. We are unique and sovereign unto ourselves because our thought processes, our ways of going through a situation and trying to figure it out, or how we interpret the world, or what ideas we can bring to the table are wholly unique to us. There's no one out there, or very few people out there, twirling a big mustache thinking of, how can I destroy the country or the world today? No, we're looking for our best way to help. And the second you make it normal to hate someone else and forget that and stop seeing them as someone else just looking for the best way to help out, is the moment you might as well spit on the Constitution. You might as well sign away all your freedoms, because now we have a perpetual foe and a perpetual enemy, and it doesn't matter what we do so long as they don't get power. And it's ridiculous, it's childish, and I am going on a rant here. I really wish I wouldn't. I'm sorry, we avoided Doctor Who, but then we started talking about modular characters that are just like, oh, you should make them this, this, and this because this. No. Think of the character first, and if that's the trait about them, so be it. It's not... It's something I'm going to end on this, but it reminds me of a quote I saw early 2000s when this social justice thing was starting to kick off and starting to go nuts. It is, sexuality isn't personality. And I feel like more people need to know that, because I go online, I'll go to someone's profile, and what's the first thing I see? Their pronouns, their sexuality, who they want to shack up with, and then some little age. It worries me that I can go to these pages and see 14 pansexual. You're 14. You shouldn't be thinking about this sort of thing yet. The fact that it's become the norm that, like, oh, this is a part of my personality and I have to air it out and show it to the world. No, you're a child. That's ridiculous. The fact that you're so obsessed with sexuality, your partner, who you want to hook up with, that you're thinking of this in those graphic terms and using these ridiculous left-wing buzzwords, it's appalling. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't feel like in order to connect with people, you have to summarize yourself to a collection of words, a single sentence along the top of your profile, which is, here is what I want you to call me, here is who I want to screw, here's how old I am, single available. And these aren't even dating profiles, these are art profiles. And it's things like that that make me want to write futures where people get along and where there's more to us than just what we put up on the internet and one state of just self-absorption to the point where whatever, don't talk to me. Oh, I'm this, don't talk to me. Oh, no shaming, no shaming. You can't shame. No, all about me. It's depressing, and I want to think that eventually we'll get beyond that. I went on one crazy tangent. Basically, no writing has gotten done, and I blame the fact that Cesara's not here, that I have gone crazy, and I've not had anyone to sort of, with a cute Yinglet-y sort of way, to corral me back into focus on the story there, Sasquatch. I think the future is going to be more like Demolition Man. God, I hope not, but Sush, you bring up a good point, because that was a good movie, and they sort of called a few things before they happened, but so help me God, I will organize freaking Minutemen with muskets and everything if Taco Bell is the last fast food restaurant standing. I need my weekly McDouble, and I would prefer not to spend 4 accompanying hours in the bathroom of a Taco Bell praying and trying to bribe the Lord Holy to just let me keep one kidney. Just one. And that's all I say there. God, we're a negative bunch of Nellies, aren't we? Alright, chat, I want you to do something. Type the happiest thing you can think of. The happiest moment of your day today. What made you smile? Even if it was stupid. Just one. Just one thing. One thing that made you smile today. What's one happy moment? Hollow Knight is a good game. Okay, so your smiling moment is Hollow Knight. Nikolai, yes, the happy ball of cabbity goodness. What made me smile was my team leader, Mary, scared the crap out of me during lunch while I was really enjoying a video I found on YouTube. Well, hey, to each their own. If getting the bejesus scared out of you during lunch break puts a smile on your face, more power to you. I don't want to be sitting next to you because I don't want to be showered in your sandwich. Excuse me, when you jump out of your skin. There's one problem with italics. It's inexact. Ooh, chicken tenders, not bad. Things that I can't eat because I'm on a diet. Oh, good news! Even though you can't tell it from the double chin up view of my camera, I have now officially lost 55 pounds on my diet. I am down to 210 pounds, and I'm looking forward to going one step beyond. So as soon as I get this novel done, I'm going to once again start focusing more on working out, focusing on doing my hot-cold training, and if I lost them, you know where if you lost them, I know where you found them. Or I know where you left them. Sush, it's all in the diet. And yeah, I do want to continue my Cooking with Greaser series on the channel. I want to make weekly written Wednesday things a thing, and at some point I'm thinking of doing a question and answer thing for some of my characters, because I've got the suit, and I've got a video of my Juicy Sona up on YouTube, but I've never really known what to do with him. Tilt Longtail is... I enjoy a lot of the work he does. He's very good with coming up with content, knowing what to do with videos. I just need to find my balance, because at some point I'd like to do more cooking. I'd like to finish up my exercise routines. I'm probably going to do another Road to Megaplex as I continue trying to get into shape. If I haven't said let's plays already, I'd like to do that. And I'd like to do skits, like little films, little short films. I have a bridge set for like a sci-fi bridge out in my garage that I'd really like to make use of. So as I get better with film editing and doing stuff on my own instead of relying on an editor, I'm going to try and get my YouTube to be much more of an active content creator. Ideally, I'd like to get my drawing quickened up too, so there's a thing. I'd love to do some comedy skits, but I've got no camera and I have no editing software I could use. Well, that's fine. I have plenty of skits and a friend who is easily blackmailed into doing all of my editing, so I don't have to have a single bit of editing software. A funny 30-second sketches. That would be funny. That'd be kind of fun. And YouTube hates animators. And well, screw YouTube and the morons in charge of it. Do it because you enjoy it. Completely out of subject, but here in Canada we have this millionaire that tried to sue Twitch. Oh, Swifty. Why and how did he try to sue Twitch? Oh, excuse me. Trying to fix my posture. His son killed him. Oh my god, that's awful. And apparently he told a Twitch streamer on stream once before. Oh. Well, my heart goes out to him. I feel bad for the poor fellow. It's never easy losing someone, especially your own son. Well, it's human decency. No matter how dumb or how mean the person might be, I'm always going to feel bad for someone who lost a child, so... be that whatever it may be. Well, no, he never blamed himself, but I can't imagine he'd be altogether rational at that point. Excuse me. And tried to become a politician. Oh yeah, he was probably thinking he was going to avenge his son. He just a little deluded, I guess. Still. Those weird spelling errors are popping up. I cannot believe I spelt that right my first go. I deserve a pat on the shoulder, which I'm going to pretend was my back. Yes. I guess. For electrical cars to replace all the taxis in the entire cities. So his decision was to pay people hourly so they would want to work more. Oh boy. Politics is an interesting thing to want to tackle, and I've had to do an immense amount of study to try and at least sound like I know what I'm talking about for Infinity Quest, since some of the focus here is on the UCASC itself and what it is as a political entity. So, yeah. I don't know why that is, but sometimes my keyboard will double letters. I think it's just, again, what I discussed in video 1, the laptop keyboards being kind of chintzy. Alright. Here seems like a good place to leave it. Are you guys enjoying the stream? Because I know I've not talked as much as I do usually, but I tried to make some serious headway with the book. I hope you are enjoying it. No, you've not been a party pooper at all, Sush. You've been participating in the chat, and you've been talking, and that's what I want. I want people who follow my endeavors to talk to one another and get to know one another, because if nothing else, I can be a platform for people to meet other people and become friends. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun with the tonight's Written Wednesday, and I hope to see you again this coming Wednesday. So I think I'm going to call it here. It's been an immense pleasure. Everyone have a great night. Toodaloo. And remember, everybody is a person just like you. A little empathy and a little understanding goes a long way in the world. Later.